Tim and Ron, it will all make sense in a minute. Just give us a few minutes to get that going. Basically, I want to share a testimony with you guys that's unfair. And the reason it's unfair is because it's filled with God's grace. I lived a life of destruction, and God's grace was with me the entire time. That I didn't realize, that I didn't see until I heard His calling. But nevertheless, I grew up in a home that was very disorganized. My stepfather, who I thought was my real father until the age of 13, was an alcoholic, and I saw him hurt my siblings, my mom, and I made a vow to my mother that I would never be that man. At 13, he decided to divorce her and blamed it on me. Said he couldn't control her son anymore. And I was kind of shocked, like, what does he mean, your son? And that's when the truth came out that he wasn't my real father. But regardless of that, I became that man. The old saying, you're a product of your environment. Yeah. There's truth to that. Right. Because I became that the same exact person that I said I would never be. I became the abusive one. I became the physical and the violent one. And that was just the example that I had grown up. So, I'm fast forwarding and going to get to the meat of this. And that is, I had a 15-year meth addiction that the people who love me the most didn't even know about because I was a professional liar. Didn't have anyone pouring into me about Jesus, about God, or any of that. I just did what Zach wanted to do. And in that addiction, there's a lot of darkness. I'm sure that anyone that's dealt with any type of drug addiction, any addiction, period, there's darkness there. Things that I did that during that addiction, I would later have to rehash or relive with my wife. So, at January 3rd, 2006, I was coming down off of partying with my drug dealer. January 1st was New Year's, and I only needed the smallest reason to get high. So, coming down January 3rd, my wife comes in, and at that time we had 4 kids. And I was asleep on the couch, and she said a few words that were correct, words that were true, but it instigated rage in me. And I got up and immediately went to violence. I'd never touched her the way that I touched her that day, to the point where I almost killed her. She went into the bedroom and locked the door behind her, and I busted down the door and threw her on the bed and put my hand over her face, over her mouth and nose so she couldn't breathe, and stayed there. And I don't know how long it was, but eventually something just clicked, and I got up. And I went into one room, and she grabbed the kids and ran out the house. Shortly after that, the police showed up, and unwillingly, I went to jail. Yeah. Nevertheless, while I was in jail, her brother, who was like my little brother for a long time, came and saw me and told me that there was a restraining order against me and that I couldn't go 300 yards within my home, my vehicles, my family. But more importantly, he told me that Jesus loved me and that there was a plan for my life. Amen. And that He loved me. And I looked at this grown man, I'm like, dude, that's messed up, man. I almost killed your sister. I'm in jail, and you're telling me you love me. And you're telling me that Jesus loves me. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this Jesus character. But you aren't doing that on your own strength. I got a sister. I got several sisters, and you touched them growing up. Wasn't nice. And here's this man telling me he loves me and that Jesus loves me. And he told me that when I got out that he would open up his house and allow me to stay with him and his family. And so I got out, and sure enough, he was there to pick me up. I'm staying with him, and he's like, what are we going to do to fix this? And I always thought, I just got to get a job, and I can fix this. Just got to get a job, got to get money, and I can fix this. I still wanted to live in my sin. But he said, well, until you get a job, you're going to go to work with me. And he was a youth pastor. And I would go to church. And these people would come up and they would hug on me, and they would like smile, and they would pray for me, and I'd be like, "Good Lord, what kind of dope are you guys?" That was my mindset. I'm like, what is going on? And finally, he approached me and said, "You know what? His father wanted to drop me off the border dead, and a lot of Christians within that circle were done with me. But he poured into my wife, and he poured into his father, and his father finally said, 'Hey, you know what? I'll pay for him to get help.' And so he asked me, he said, 'Hey, you want to get help?' I'm like, 'No, I'm good. I can do this. I'm a man.' Well, he wasn't praying that I could do this. In January 12th, 2006, I broke down and said I needed help and went into Calvary Ranch. It's a Christian-based drug and alcohol rehab out in Lakeside. So January 12th, I'm